Meantime, back to our top story and the political fallout from this latest object to be shot down in U.S. airspace. Let's bring in former DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary Jonathan Fahey and Project 21 co-chair Horace Cooper. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Jonathan, to you first. I mean, we'll get to the border in a little bit, but I just have to talk about this airspace issue because we were told last week that it was a bad idea to shoot down this Chinese spy weather balloon in deep water or in frozen conditions, and yet today we shoot down this unidentified object in frozen conditions. There doesn't appear to be a set policy. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't appear. It appears to be the policy is reacting to the bad news coverage for last week, which really isn't a sensible national security policy. And really, this goes back to, and I think you hit on earlier with your other guest, is are we being tested? Is this weakness of this administration being shown to the world? And I think unquestionably it is. And, you know, we'll get to the border in a second, but these are all interconnected. Yeah. The weakness is evident, and they're exploiting it, and they're testing us.
And I get it, Horace. I mean, you know, up in that area, I know that the radar, the ATC radar is limited. I know that when you're talking about, you know, vectoring flights around, it's limited. So there is a civilian air concern up there. So I get the whole idea and the reason for the shoot down, although they waited 24 hours. And if you wait 24 hours, the concern level kind of goes from here to here. Your thoughts?
Well, it's pretty clear this administration has been more interested in responding to the public pressure and the media pressure about this than making national security the primary focus. Look, we don't know what this is. They haven't told us if they know what this is. Yeah. Is it possible that we've ignored for months or years these types of intrusions, and now this president, maybe, when it becomes an issue, suddenly decides, let's shoot it first and ask questions later? This sounds political. It doesn't sound principled.
It does sound a little political. General Keith Kellogg said this today on Special Report. Watch.
They're basically reacting much more rapidly than they did before, but this is reacting to something they really don't even know what it was, and they haven't told us what it was.
Yeah, again, you know, Jonathan, you think this is not a military response as much as a political response, like, you know what, this thing's got to go down now.
Yeah, it is funny how last week it's okay to float across the entire country and it's not that big a deal. And the president even said it wasn't that big of a deal. And now we're shooting this thing out of the air without really asking any questions or not knowing what it is, apparently. So, yeah, it does seem to be a lot of inconsistency. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like, at least from my view, that national security is the primary interest. Yeah. It's more of a reactive interest, which certainly isn't in our interest national security-wise.
And I want to get some border news in here if I can, because the chief border patrol agent of the Tucson sector is really running out of descriptions to describe the crisis on the border. Listen to him and I'll get your response.
Last year it quadrupled. Last year was 250,000. We're 20,000 ahead right now. So we went from what I would describe as unprecedented to a point where I don't have the correct adjective to describe what's going on.
How about the adjective of unrivaled? Because this stuff doesn't happen, Horace, in any place else on the planet.
Unbelievable that this administration has allowed this problem to get to this level. I don't want people shooting people who are trying to come into our country. Right. I would like a principled policy of deterrence. Now, this administration announces that no, we're not going to deport people to Mexico because apparently that's too much like remain in Mexico. What I'm seeing is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people see the signal this administration is sending. Come to America. It's okay. That's intolerable.
And if they miss the signal, they can just pick up social media and the messages are everywhere. Come to America. It's all going to be fine. Jonathan Fahey, Horace Cooper, gentlemen, thank you both.